Imagine a picnic. You're sat out on a red and white checkered blanket, a wicker basket packed with your lunch beside it. The air is still comfortably warm from the lingering summer, but the humidity has died away with the first breath of fall in the air. Spending the day hiking in Chickies Rock County Park was definitely a good idea. You finish off your sandwich and reach into the basket for your dessert, a crisp red apple you plan to cut up and munch on with some peanut butter. That's when you hear it, a rustle in the trees. You look around, but you can't see anything at first. No wildlife scrabbling amongst the tree roots or fellow hikers coming up the trail. But then a flicker of movement catches your eye among several low-hanging branches nearby. A dark shadow, climbing closer and closer, and then you leap up at a sudden loud crack, and the shadow comes barreling towards you. You scramble for the trees with a startled yell as a something lunges towards your picnic basket and snatches up the apple. You watch, fearful and astonished, from behind a thick tree trunk as the creature devours your snack. It's ape-like and short. The sun catches in the thick brown fur covering its entire body. Your first thought is, Bigfoot? But that can't be right. Bigfoot's supposed to be huge, certainly taller than this 4-foot little thing. As though it senses you watching, the creature's face suddenly snaps up, its bright yellow eyes meeting your own. It opens its mouth and lets out an ear-piercing shriek, and that's all it takes to set you stumbling backwards to put as much space between you and the beast as possible. In your haste, however, your feet tangle in the undergrowth, and you come crashing down to the ground with a thud that knocks the wind out of you. Wheezing, you roll painfully to your side and reach a hand out to push yourself up, when something damp and a little sticky bounces off your shoulder. Blinking in surprise, you stare at the object laying innocently on the ground. An apple core? A strange picnic to envision indeed, but perhaps not too far off from the stories a person picnicking at Chickies Rock may have told in the 1800s. The story of a furry little apple-loving cryptid has flowed through the lore and history of Chickies Rock County Park for decades. And what is this little creature's name? The Albatwitch. I'm Christiana.
And I'm Bree.
Settle in and don't open your doors.
Because you're about to hear something strange.
Welcome to Episode 1, The Albatwitch. My lovely co-host, what do you know about the Albatwitch?
What do I know about the Albatwitch? I introduced you to the Albatwitch.
You did. You did.
The Albatwitch and I go like a year and a half back.
Way back.
So what I know about the Albatwitch, I know from the Strange Familiars podcast, which is local to York County, PA.
Yeah.
Which is where the Albatwitch is also local to, apparently.
Yes.
It's a little furry cryptid that looks like a Bigfoot, but there's some discussion on if it would be in the same family as a Bigfoot or not, from what I understand, and it likes apples and throwing apple cores at people.
Yeah, that's about it.
We went on a trolley ride that I thought we were going to die last year, but that's really
We'll talk about that later, actually. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The Albatwitch is a cryptid typically seen in Pennsylvania, especially around Chickies Rock County Park in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. The characteristics of the Albatwitch are they're short, typically said to be around 4 feet tall. They're ape-like, but with more human-like proportions than Bigfoot, because they are often called a tiny Bigfoot, but they do have, like I said, the more human-like proportions. So they're also very thin, they have glowing yellow eyes, and they are furry. They've got thick brown fur everywhere. They typically live in wooded areas, especially around Chickies Rock, which is in that one park in Lancaster County, like I said. Some say that the creatures live in treetops and only come down to forage for food. They also love apples. Their name is commonly believed to have originated from the Pennsylvania Dutch, which would translate to apple-snitch, or possibly apple-witch. I saw both in my research. However, it also could be of strictly German descent, a combination of the word Alb, which means elf, and Entweichen, meaning escape. So, like, Albatwitch. Most commonly, I've seen apple-snitch. It's also, like I said, sometimes called a tiny Bigfoot. And it's said that their appearance is sometimes accompanied by a sharp cracking noise, like a whip crack, if they live in the trees, it's possible, like, this is just me, like, speculating. If they live in the trees, it's possible that the cracking noise could be, like, branches breaking or knocking against each other, because I feel like that could make a same, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you know what I envisioned there when you said, like, the whip cracking?
Yeah.
You know, like, the guy that does the Ren Fair whipping.
Jacques Whipper!
I just imagine him bringing up an Albatwitch on the stage.
Yes!
And just, like, whipping, sorry,
yes.
not whipping Albatwitch, but whipping with the Albatwitch.
Yeah!
Anyway, sorry.
I think we should find Jacques Whipper and just make up an Albatwitch song.
I'm gonna be there on the 30th.
Oh, yeah, because he does the...
He'll be at the Maryland Ren Fair.
Oh, that's exciting. That's cool.
Anyway,
so some believe that Albatwitches went extinct in the 1800s or were at least driven to the point of extinction, although there are I'm gonna say modern reports of sightings in recent years. A little bit about Albatwitch history from what I could find. The research on this was a little bit difficult. I kind of felt like I was in the Twilight Zone a couple times.
Fun! That's a great place to be. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, legends supposedly go back as far as the Susquehannock tribe. The Susquehannock tribe lived along the Susquehanna River. Makes sense. And they were mostly a sedentary people. I was finding notes about them moving to trade, but then coming back to, like, where they were located. And they were also an agricultural people. It's said that they painted depictions of a creature that looked very similar to the Albatwitch on their war shields. I was having a hard time finding direct sources on that. Like, even just finding information about the Susquehannock tribe was really difficult. I was pretty shocked by that.
Interesting.
Like, I found stuff in Encyclopedia Britannica, but trying to find, like, real solid evidence, and it sounds like part of that reason might have been a little bit that I was gathering was the tribe kind of died out, or were... I don't want to say they were enveloped by another tribe, because I don't know if that's actually true, but they kind of passed out of existence.
Okay.
Which again, it was very hard, and I didn't want to get too into the weeds with it, so I kind of just put my foot down with myself and said stop. But it was strange that I couldn't find more.
And for our listeners that might not live in Pennsylvania or one of the bordering states, the Susquehanna is a river that is probably one of the bigger ones in PA. There's some really interesting names of things in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Nescopec.
Well, the area that I'm from originally, we have the Schuylkill River. Because the Susquehanna goes north, right?
It is very big and very dangerous. You must be very, very careful because the water looks very sedentary on top, but it will sweep you away. So evidence was found of a Susquehannock tribe's village at the base of modern-day Chickies Rock. Again, not entirely sure how reliable that evidence is, because it was very difficult to find, like, reliable sources. This is all hearsay.
Primary sources.
Primary sources, yes.
It took us a minute, but we got there.
Yeah. So, more about Chickies Rock, since I keep mentioning it. Chickies Rock is said to be where the Albatwitches like to call their home. It is their capital, if you will.
The capital of the Albatwitch Nation.
Yes. About the place itself, it's located, as I said, in Chickies Rock County Park. The name is derived from the native word Chickasalunga.
We'll go with that.
Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. Please correct me if I did. And that means place of the crayfish.
I love that.
Yeah. The rock itself is basically a giant slab of quartzite.
So it should have good energy.
Yeah.
It's the biggest vanishing rock.
Yeah. And it sits 100 feet over the river, which offers really beautiful vistas and views. Albatwitches are not the only legends that surround that rock. There is the story of Lover's Leap. So we're going to dig in here because I thought this was interesting.
Is this a trigger warning?
Yeah. Trigger warning for death here. This is a story that goes back all the way to the Susquehannock tribe. There are 3 different versions of the tale, which I'm going to try to quickly tell here. In one version, a man named Wanunga and his wife, Wahuita. There is a man named Wanunga who is married to a woman named Wahuita. They're part of the Susquehannock tribe. And while Wanunga is away on a journey to trade furs, Wahuita falls in love with a white settler. when Wanunga returns, he grows suspicious of his wife, and one night he follows her out to a secret rendezvous with her beau at the top of Chickies Rock. Wanunga flies into an absolute rage and murders the settler before throwing him off the cliff, and then he also tries to throw Wahuita over. In the struggle, though, both of them end up falling over the edge to their deaths. Another version of the tale is that Wanunga and Wahuita are not married, but Wanunga is very much in love with this woman. And when he professes his love, at the top of Chickies Rock, of course, she denies him, saying that she actually is also in love, but she is in love with a white settler in a nearby village. Wanunga, once again, flies into a rage, attacks her. However, the white settler that Wahuita is in love with happens to be like hiding in the bushes and watching all this happen. And he sees Wanunga attack her, so the white settler jumps out. And also, I should say, the white settler is never named. That's why I just keep calling him the white settler.
It's the opposite, isn't it?
I know.
It's like the males,
the
white males that are named, and it's like...
It kind of makes sense, though, because I think this is told...
Is this a Susquehannock
legend?
Tale? Okay.
Yeah, so it's told from their point of view, which is...
Oh, very... I like this.
Yes.
I mean, I don't like the murder and the
yes,
death.
But, like, it's refreshing.
Yes.
Dare I say.
Yes. Anyways, continue, please.
So, the settler jumps out, tries to save Wahuita, and he is killed and thrown over the edge, unfortunately. And Wanunga, in his rage, also throws Wahuita over the edge. In this version, it wasn't clear if Wanunga fell as well or he survived. Final version of this story involves a young native woman, unnamed in this case, who is being chased down by a separate group of natives, hypothetically a different tribe. She's trapped at the edge of Chickies Rock, cliff edge, and rather than being captured, she throws herself over the edge.
And it's a big drop.
Yeah, it's 100 feet. Yeah, it's not
gonna
be nice. Right? Yeah, we threw apples over the edge. More on that later. The other legend that surrounds this place is it's a shadowy hat man, a figure dressed in a fedora-style hat and cape. Some believe he is the ghost of Wanunga. Others think a specter of Susquehannock origin that serves as a warning to stay off of native lands. Supposedly, figures dressed similarly to this figure exist throughout Susquehannock culture. I don't know if I believe that, because I'm pretty sure Susquehannock...
Fedoras?
Yes, that's what I said. I was like,
okay,
pretty sure they weren't wearing fedoras, but like...
Unless it's like...
a headdress?
Yeah.
Maybe?
People are I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how much I buy that. But, again, solid sources were hard to find, so this is just the information I've got. I'm just repeating it. There's also supposedly been ghostly drumming heard with no origin. And other tragedies have surrounded this rock, including a trolley derailment in 1896 that killed a bunch of people. So, speaking of the 1800s, Chickies Rock was a popular picnic destination in this time, and a trolley service was actually started to bring people to the top of this rock. So, it's kind of cool to picture, because I just see people in, like, old-timey dresses, like, up there picnicking, and it's just... that's what I envision. It's fun.
It's going back down. That's scary.
Yes, because it is a very steep hill.
Yes.
But picnickers would return with stories about an ape-like creature that would come out of the trees and steal their apples and then pelt them with the cores.
It's not funny.
Oh, it is.
But it is.
It totally is.
They go back home after their nice little date and they're like, Mom, I wouldn't believe what just happened. And they're like, that's nice, darling.
So we're going to move forward here. This is kind of moving out of the historical region of Chickies Rock and early sightings of the Albatwitch to more modern day sightings.
Back to the future.
Back to the future. The one that I tend to hear about the most and saw in my research was the Rick Fisher sighting. Rick Fisher is a paranormal researcher and author. He is also one of the co-founders of the Albatwitch Festival, which,
Yay.
Again, we're going to talk about that later. In 2022, he was driving near Chickies Rock early one morning when he thought he saw a person crossing the road ahead of him. But when he got closer and caught the figure in his headlights, he saw what he described as, quote, a stick-thin figure about 5 feet tall, covered with hair. He also spotted glowing yellow eyes before the creature vanished. He described his vanishing. I don't know if that was he ran off the road out of his headlights and popped into the trees. I don't know if it poofed into thin air. That's his description. There was also a Laurel Hill Cemetery sighting. Laurel Hill is in Lancaster County, close to Chickies Rock.
It's on the way up.
Right. In 1980, two brothers, like younger kids, were hiking in the woods behind the cemetery. The younger brother was lagging behind the older one when the younger brother came face to face with a creature that pinned him to a tree. Which is, yeah, that's a little scary. When the older brother saw what was going on, he started yelling, and that scared the creature off.
I don't know if I would have stuck around. Like, that's horrible, right?
Like, sorry, brother. Yeah.
Well,
what
honestly,
do you do,
honestly,
in that situation?
You don't choose. Your trauma response takes over.
Exactly. Like,
you might freeze, you might fight, or you might flight. Those are kind of your options there. And
right.
But, like...
I feel like I would just freeze and start screaming.
Well, also, running, it might chase you.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know what it eats besides apples.
Mm-hmm. And it pinned the kid to a tree. So was he just a bully, or... I don't know. So there have also been several other sightings which were reported in Bainbridge, PA, and Mount Joy, PA, both of which are in Lancaster County, close to Columbia, the town of Columbia. I also want to talk about a possible sighting in an apple orchard in Columbia County. I say possible sighting because I found this on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website.
I didn't know that was... It doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that.
It is a thing. It's surprising. I like I said, there were a few times I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone researching this.
There's a lot of Bigfoot hunters and reports in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Actually, not that far from us.
Bigfoot is my bro. Bigfoot is welcome in my house. Probably shouldn't say that.
Bigfoot or aliens?
Bigfoot, God.
Bigfoot. I choose Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah. I feel like Bigfoot's cool. I feel like he's a bro.
He's not throwing rocks at you.
Wait, yeah, well, yeah, that's true. To be fair, I also feel like I would throw rocks at people. My great times 10 grandmother did that, apparently. Fun fact. My great times 10 grandmother, I think it was times 10. Forgive me if that's wrong, Grandma. Was an accused witch in Hartford, Connecticut trials. Yeah.
You're just dropping lore on us.
I am. This is as best we can tell from the family genealogy. She was accused and she survived 3 different accusations, which is cool.
So your family's been here a long time.
A hot minute, yeah.
My family was still kicking it in Poland, Germany, and Ireland at that point.
Oh, gee, okay. No, I think we came over here, at least by marriage, pretty early on. But yeah, she apparently... this is probably why she was accused. She apparently threw rocks at people that she didn't like. Which I'm like, alright, well, I'm definitely her granddaughter. Anyway... I don't even know where I am right now.
We're talking about the apple orchard sighting.
Oh, yes. Okay, so on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website, I came to this website because this was marked as a source on Rick Fisher's website about Albatwitch sightings. So I was trying to go there to see if I could find more, like, primary evidence. And I didn't find anything concrete, but... I did find this Bigfoot sighting. So a little bit of information on this website. It's kind of wild. They have an area where you can report your sightings, and they have a whole classification system for if it's reliable or not. If I remember, this is like one of the more reliable sightings that they've had, which I found fascinating. I was like, good on you. I mean, that's pretty legit.
Can we post this link in the...
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the Bigfoot version of MUFON.
Of MUFON.
Yeah, the
Sorry.
Extraterrestrial alien sightings.
I have it in my works cited, so it'll be posted. Yes, feel free to go to it. It was kind of fun to just surf around and see what I could find.
I might do that one time when I can't sleep.
Yeah, there you go. So this sighting was in 1993. 2 friends were camping in Columbia County and went scavenging. So this is kind of far. Yeah, this was
far north. Yeah,
this was a little bit further north, but they went camping. And they went scavenging for wood in an apple orchard nearby. First, they heard what was described as a sort of screeching or wheezing noise, which was a direct quote, followed by a scream. When they looked around, they saw a creature described as 5 foot 6 inches tall and between 350 400 pounds. The creature ran at the campers, and they quickly ran away to their car.
Finally, someone makes a smart decision in one of these stories.
They said absolutely not, and they ran. Good for them. It was also noted in the report that in the area the campers were set up, there was a heavily forested mountain nearby. This was reported as a Bigfoot sighting. It kind of got me to thinking and connecting some dots. Like, while the creature maybe didn't sound exactly like an Albatwitch, it was a little big. You know, height-wise, they were, Albatwitches are described as about 4 feet tall. And also, it seemed pretty heavy. In part of the research I saw was, in Rick Fisher's sighting, he said the figure was very stick-thin. So 4 feet tall and stick-thin, unless they are packing on the muscle, 350 pounds is pretty heavy.
But I also wonder how accurate that is, because, these people are probably in,
they're
fight
in
or flight.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you get tunnel vision. So, things look bigger. Things look different.
Sure. And when something is running at you, and it could have really, really thick fur, which is going to make it look bulkier. And the other thing was the Rick Fisher sighting, I believe he described the creature that he saw was about 5 feet tall, which is, again, bigger than a typical Albatwitch, or what I've read as a typical Albatwitch. Also, no yellow eyes were sighted, but
it was also daylight.
No, this was at night.
Okay.
But if they're not shining a flashlight directly at it,
maybe they have different color eyes like people do.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I just was like, maybe it was an Albatwitch. There was a heavily wooded area nearby, which is said to be where they live. They were in an apple orchard, which, that checks. Everyone wants a midnight snack. 2 a.m. snack, whatever. And I already kind of talked through the size thing. So, possibly just a really tall specimen of an Albatwitch. Who knows? Maybe it was an Albatwitch, not a Bigfoot. I just thought it was fun.
It's a crossbreed. Maybe it was
Ooh.
I wonder. We're talking about probably mythical beings. Sorry. But I wonder because depending on how close they'd be genetically.
Mm-hmm. And they're often called a little Bigfoot. So.
Should start calling big feet.
Bigfoot feet.
We should start calling them big Albatwitches.
Big Albatwitches. They're disrespect. Bigfoot was like, I was going to come have coffee with you. I think I'm just going to leave now. So the Albatwitch today can be seen in modern pop culture at a celebration in Lancaster County called Albatwitch Day. We went to this.
We did, and we're going again.
Yes, we're going again this year. It's a lot of fun. It's it's a little festival featuring apple-themed treats, like apple pie, apples, like caramel apples, all kinds of yummies. Different vendors are set up that have different craft items. There were, a lot of them are paranormal based, but they have some other fun stuff there. There were some booksellers there that had different books about the paranormal. Rick Fisher, I believe, had his books there. I got Albatwitch coffee last year. That was fun. I had an Albatwitch tooth in it. Because the coffee bag, it came with, it said on the bag, surprise inside. So I was like, I gotta get this. And it was literally, a little, not a real tooth, but, a model of, an Albatwitch fang.
I have no memory of you buying this coffee, but I also didn't feel good, so.
Yeah, you weren't feeling and I think we had also kind of separated at one point, because
I had sat down was what happened.
Yeah. They have different lectures there about cryptozoology.
Oh, the witch one was what I listened to.
Yeah, there was one about history of Pennsylvania witches, which was really cool. And one of the pinnacle things that happens at this event is a trolley tour that takes you to the top of Chickies Rock. And, while you're there, there's a historian on the trolley with you that kind of gives you different information about the town of Lancaster County, town of Lancaster,
Town of Columbia,
different Albatwitch sightings. And then when you get to the top of Chickies Rock, you throw apples over into the woods for the Albatwitches. And it's very fun.
I thought we were going to die coming back down.
Yeah, they were wild and coming back down that mountain.
I was like, this is it. You and our other friend were having a great time, and I was like, this is it.
You're like, nope. I know, sorry about that.
It's okay. So,
I do love a roller coaster, as long as it doesn't go upside down.
I like them when you're not in a trolley. I like when roller coasters a lot, because it's, stuck to the track.
Yes, yeah.
There's no seatbelts in a trolley, either.
That's true. We were just, rocketing down a mountain. It was wild.
It was fun. I would do it again.
Any closing thoughts?
I wrote down a couple of things.
Yes, I hope I can answer them.
Well, some of these are just more discussions. So
okay.
One of the things was, I wonder if there are other sightings of, small big feet
Mm-hmm.
that aren't
Bigfoot feet?
that aren't being attributed to Albatwitches, like, because that's a very localized thing, right? That's a very
Sure.
Lancaster, York County. Because another geography thing for you guys. So the Susquehanna River, where we're at with Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
is the dividing line between York and Lancaster County.
Right.
So on the other side of the river is Wrightsville, which is York County.
Mm-hmm.
Very Pennsylvania Dutch, Pennsylvania German. Dutch
Yes.
comes from like the German word for German, which is Deutsch.
Right. Deutsch.
Yeah.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch. I
Although-
would like to sprechen Sie Deutsch.
But I wonder if, that is something that is called something else other places?
Yeah.
Because there's Bigfoot sightings all over the United States, Canada.
I feel like there's a podcast I listen to. I'll go listen to this one if you like spooky stories. It's so good. It's called Snap Judgment Presents Spooked. It's Glenn Washington.
Spooked.
It is so good. Seriously, guys, like, if you like spooky stories told by the people who have witnessed them with a fun soundtrack behind it, go listen to Spooked. It's fantastic. But there was a person that wrote in... Oh, man. I think this gentleman was... Oh, forgive me if I get this wrong because it's been a minute since I listened. I believe they were Navajo.
Okay.
And they were out at I don't think it was a powwow. I think that was a different episode and I'm getting the mix. But they were out at a gathering around a campfire. Everyone was having a good time. And this creature walked through, and this person described it as, like, it is a Bigfoot. They are dangerous. Like, this was, like, something culturally to them, which I was like, that's really interesting. And
Yeah.
that's out west.
They're okay, I'm like pulling this from just my brain and watching the documentary, so this might not be the most reliable sources, but several First Nations tribes have stories of like what we would call cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Being one of them.
Yeah.
But if that's incorrect information, I apologize to anyone who is First Nations.
Right.
Descendants.
Please let us know. We're not out here to offend anyone or give incorrect information.
Exactly. Once again, I would wonder if people, like, I'm sure there are sightings of Bigfoot-like creatures, like, down south, like the skunk ape, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Bigfoot, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not.
A little, like, same family maybe, but different.
Or the Honey Island Swamp monster. That
Yes.
is, oh my god, my Pennsylvania Dutch accent's coming out. That's another Bigfoot variant. Believing the Bizarre did, I think it was either an episode or a listener submission on that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Check them out. I couldn't tell you when that episode came out because I don't remember.
That's right.
Oh, it's not new.
It is not new.
So that was my first thought. The other thing is when you brought up like the whole thing of like it maybe meaning elf.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a rabbit hole that, because I listen to a lot of paranormal podcasts,
Yeah.
and Strange Familiars is one that they're really big into Bigfoot, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. About like the idea that Bigfoot is some kind of connection to the Fae, because we can't have an episode without talking about the Fae because I like the Fae.
Can I shout really quick another podcast out?
Yep.
This is more of an audio drama. It is so good. It's called Bridgewater.
Oh yes,
Oh,
that's an Aaron Mahnke.
it's
Grim
Aaron
and Mild,
Mahnke,
yeah.
Grim and Mild. Misha Collins stars in it. It is, seriously, guys, again, so good. Go listen to it.
It is
But they
very
talk
good.
about the Bigfoot in there, and they call it the
What is it called in there? Because
something howler.
the Bridgewater Triangle is actually like a real paranormal.
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I want to go there. I want to go to there. Freetown State Forest.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, and
Freetown Swamp.
Freetown State Forest, Hockomock Swamp. I feel like there's another corner of it, but I would like to go there. Apparently it's beautiful.
There has to be 3 corners if it's a triangle.
That's true. I'm over here like, maybe there's 6. I don't know.
Welcome to geometry with something strange.
We're doing great. I'm doing great. No, I've heard it's actually like really, really beautiful there. Like the trails and everything are apparently gorgeous. But we should do an episode about
We
Bridgewater.
should. That'd be cool.
The girl, I'm shouting them all out today. The girls over at Morbid did a Bridgewater episode. Go listen to Morbid. Ash and Elena, you're great.
I'm putting my thumbs up, and you can't see that. But, like, there are people that think that, like, there's a fairy connection to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And honestly, Albatwitch might even fit a little bit, like, the more slender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because elementals and fey creatures, we imagine, like, Tinkerbell, and that's not really what is told in the folklore.
Yeah.
There's a whole menagerie of different critters.
And scary creatures.
Yeah, the European folklore, fey folklore, is very scary. We'll get into that. The fey will be an episode eventually.
Yeah. Fairy tales. We
I
should do some, like, real fairy tales.
What do you mean
like,
by real fairy?
Like the
Grimm brothers?
Yeah, like the real, like the true, like Little Mermaid or
yeah.
like Snow White or.
This isn't a fairy tale. I'm actually gonna do Tamlin, which is like a fairy tale. Yeah. Okay, but those are my only two thoughts so far.
Okay.
Everything else I kind of think I asked during
we chatted.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't have a lot of thoughts on these creatures, except that just I think they're fun. I personally am not sure what all I believe about cryptids. I tend to, as a general rule, forgive me, not believe that they are real, but I definitely also think there are things about this world that we do not know, we do not understand, and that are unseen. And I do feel like there's a lot of compelling evidence to say cryptids are real. But in a lot of different areas, not just in this country, but like all over the world. So I would not be upset if I saw one. Well, as long as it's not pinning me to a tree or throwing apple cores at me.
As long as it's not too close to you. And I think we sit very similarly there. I don't necessarily believe in cryptids, but I will tell you, after listening to like a podcast episode about a cryptid, and then I have horses, and where they live, it's kind of in podunk nowhere. And when I'm out in the barn by myself in the middle of the woods and I hear sounds coming from the woods, they seem a lot more real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in winter when it is dark at 4 o'clock. It's like, that's silly, that's a really cool story. And then I get there, I'm doing stalls, and I hear something from the woods, and I'm like, it's a little more believable, but...
Yeah, absolutely. And another thought I have on this is go to the Albatwitch. It's fun.
Now, the Albatwitch Festival will have just happened when we release this.
Yes.
So the Albatwitch Festival would have been the Saturday before this episode is released.
Right. So we'll have already been there.
So what drew you to this topic?
So I more or less just wanted something fun for my first episode. I love the legends behind the different cryptids and different lore, and especially after going to Albatwitch Fest last year, I was like, we should do something fun. Like, it would be a fun time to talk about.
I think, and this will not be the rule for this podcast, but I think what you lovely listeners will find is that Christiana will tend to do more fun and historical things.
Yeah.
And I will tend to do more of the dark paranormal.
Yeah. Although I do have some pretty gruesome history cases.
That is true.
Up my sleeve.
And I do have some things that are less serious.
Sure.
On mine. So, but I think you tend to lean more history and I tend to lean more paranormal. And
I do love the history side of it. Yeah.
I have one or two history things that everyone's just going to be surprised.
I'm excited about it.
Like, who's talking?
And every now and then I might pop up with something strange, one could say. Who knows?
Did this episode and the research change your view of the topic?
Not really. I can't say I had like super strong views to begin with, so like, they're fun. I can say I have different views on the Bigfoot organization just because the website, like, I'm not being a smartass, like, respect, because I will say, like, the website, it had a lot of work put into it, like, a lot of effort to classify and,
Yeah, Bigfoot researchers actually, that sounds bad. Bigfoot researchers, from what I understand, are very serious about what they do. They put a lot of time. There's like a whole Pennsylvania Bigfoot network.
Mm-hmm. And I just didn't know that much about it. I knew there were people that did it, but I didn't know much about it beyond that. And like I said, I got on the website and they had like the different classifications of sightings. I'm like, that's really serious research. This is not just people out there like saying, oh, I saw this. I was impressed. Good on y'all.
And you kind of answered this, but what was the most strange thing about this topic?
The Bigfoot Field Research Organization website. The most strange and delightful, I would say.
Strange doesn't have to be bad.
It is not bad.
If you have any suggestions for a strange or mysterious topic, let us know. You can comment on Spotify. You can leave a review on Apple. You can send us an email at somethingstrangepod24@gmail.com.
Correct.
Or you can send us a direct message, a DM, at our Instagram, which is somethingstrangepod24. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. Please comment. Send us an email. Let's start a dialogue. Let's have some fun together, friends.
Well, strangers, it's time for us to part ways.
Until we meet again, make sure you keep those doors closed.
We'll be back again soon with
Something strange.